And geography. You should have people from different parts of the country. Role clarity is again very important. How do you build an enabling and trusting climate? I think this is really the responsibility of the chairman and the managing director. Even though Uday Quota Committee has said chairman and managing director is to be split in public sectors like ours, the chairman and the managing director is still one. So I think the CMD has to really bring in that enabling and the trusting climate. In my previous company, I must share with you, there was a one-day workshop that we did only on building trust. And this was, if you remember, in overall there, board members plus other key members of the top management. And there was a lovely book then, I remember, it was not available. We didn't have Amazon so aggressive in India. So we had to import the book. And this book was, I remember, called Trust in the Balance. My recommendation would be kindly read it. And maybe there are later editions and there are more books. But building trust, building an enabling climate, this subtle stepping in by the chairman in the board meetings, preparing the board members before the agenda is put in, having behind the scene discussions, who has what kind of fears. I think that's something which is very, very important. Otherwise, you will have more and more dissent for the sake of it. Another thing that I found very important is the structured induction for the independent directors, which we do. And formats for presentations, if they are structured in a way that the focus is on content and not on authenticity of the data. So if you just have a format and then you say source of the data, that's a standard thing. Nobody is going to ask you from where is it, no, this is not correct. A lot of discussion goes on that, those kind of stuff. So that will help. Experts, as I said, invite them wherever needed. Meet frequently. I think very important not to not meet for more than 2 months. Otherwise you forget and people get involved in their own affairs. How can independent directors in the board oversee the company, mind the risks, and it's a very tall task. You really need to, and you are not a director only in one company, independent director especially. So you need to frequently keep yourself updated on that line of business, the line of industry. For example, BEML, a company that I work for, we have 3 verticals, and almost once a week or twice a week I have to be in Delhi. Unlike if I had been in the petroleum, it was only petroleum ministry. Here I have mining and construction, so I have a coal and steel. I have defense, so defense ministry, which is defense production as well as defense, and plus the army people. So your father was in the army. They are people with, if you allow me, big egos, so you have to manage them. Then we make railway coaches, so we have the railway ministry to sort of liaise with, and that also is quite a different kind of organization. And then the last and not the least is Ministry of Urban Development. We make metro coaches, and proud to say that 45% of all coaches made in the country is made by us. Recently there was a big order for 500 coaches in Mumbai, line 2 and line 7, and BML won it. It was a open tender and multinationals and what have you, and we beat the Chinese by a slender less than 1%. So God was on our side. So the point I'm trying to make is that BML as a company is extremely, what could I say, complex. And with these 3 verticals, and the fact that last year we churned the best results ever, we grew 30%, we crossed the threshold of 3,500 crores, profit went up by 67%, and this was in the backdrop of the fact that we were supposed to be disinvested. So our share price, which was about 500, went to 1900, it came down, and now again there's some interesting things happening. So, it's a company with a lot of potential. We are part of the defense space, and there's a lot of more action that you would hope to see from BML. And thank you very much for your patient hearing. I'd be very happy to answer the question if I can. And thank you, Ayodhya, and thank you, Arun Staff, once again. Thank you.